The instant Margaret Walsh's Pitbull clamped its jaws into my disabled son's stomach, something in me shattered. I didn't scream or plead. I seized the nearest shovel and ensured the next scream was hers. But that was only the start. By dusk, I'd splinter her clipboard, her gate, and a part of her she thought untouchable. When it was over, even the dog seemed to fear me. It was meant to be a peaceful morning. Ethan, my 8-year-old, had begged to try his wheelchair's new tires, reinforced, smoother, with sharper brakes. He treated it like a race car, decorating the rims with star stickers he'd cut from yellow paper, his gap-toothed grin lighting up the world. Though he couldn't walk, nothing stopped him from flying. I stood on the porch, coffee in hand, feigning distraction to give him his moment of freedom. Ethan hummed, tracing blue chalk stars on the sidewalk, dust coating his sleeves. His joy softened every scar I carried until a voice sliced through. "I told you, keep that thing off my grass." Margaret stood behind her steel gate, arms crossed, eyes icy, clutching a ceramic garden stone etched with daisies. I moved, but too late. She hurled it, the stone cracking against Ethan's head. His wheelchair lurched, nearly tipping. His chalk rolled away. My mug shattered on the concrete. Then the nightmare surged. Margaret's gate swung open, and her gray Pitbull charged, paws hammering the pavement, eyes locked on Ethan. No bark, just intent. Ethan screamed as the dog slammed into him, toppling the chair against the curb. Its teeth tore through his shirt into his flesh. Blood bloomed, his cry primal, breaking me. I grabbed a rusted shovel from a neighbor's garden and swung, the blade cracking the dog's skull. It yelped but lunged again. I struck harder, ribs crunching. The dog recoiled, whimpering. Ethan's legs were bloodied, his hands frozen, eyes wide with terror. I shielded him as Margaret shouted, "You're trespassing. I've reported you and your crippled kid to the HOA." My fury surged, shovel trembling in my grip. Ethan sobbed behind me. Margaret wasn't done, but neither was I. Ethan clutched his stomach, blood seeping, his wheelchair skewed. The Pitbull crawled away, dazed but snarling. Margaret stood, clipboard at her hip, as if tallying a minor infraction. "I warned you," she sneered, stepping forward in her pristine flats. "This is restricted HOA property. Your son crossed the grass line." The dog did its job. I dropped the shovel, its clang echoing, and marched toward her. She smirked. "Touch me, and I'll have you arrested," she said, brandishing her phone. "You're in violation code 14B, assault, trespassing." I ripped the keys from her belt, spun her, and smashed her clipboard to the ground, splintering it. "Stop," she screamed, shoving me. I looped my belt around her wrists, dragging her to the HOA's iron gate. "Let me go, you psycho," she shrieked. I bound her arms to the bars, leather creaking. "You stay here," I growled. "You unleashed a weapon on my son." She spat, thrashing. "I'll seize your house." I leaned close. "You're no president, Margaret. You're a tyrant with a leash and it just broke." I lifted Ethan into his chair, his sobs quieting. Margaret's screams faded into defeat as I wheeled him away, but this was far from over. By morning, the belt and clipboard were gone, but not my rage. Margaret escalated, planting a laminated sign on my lawn where Ethan's stars once shone. HOA zone. Mobility-impaired units must register or relocate. Red spray paint below read, "No cripples allowed." Ethan peeked from the window, whispering, "Is she still mad?" Not mad, methodical. A dictator in pearls. That afternoon, a notice was taped to our door, $200 fine for disruption, threatening a board member, unregistered wheelchair. I nearly tore the door off, storming to confront her. She sat in a lawn chair, sipping lemonade, flanked by 2 board members. "Back for more," she cooed. "You find a wheelchair?" I growled. "Motorized, unregistered, on HOA ground," she replied, standing. "You're not used to consequences." I loomed over her. "I've built consequences in war zones. You hide behind signs and dogs because it's all you've got." Her Pitbull, unleashed, glared, a fleck of Ethan's blood on its jaw. "Sue me," she taunted. "Or leave." I turned, silent, but the soldier in me woke. Sleepless, I saw Ethan's blood, Margaret's smirk, her dog's teeth. Rage wasn't enough. I called allies. First, Lucas Reed, a former Navy K-9 handler who read dogs like books. Civilian Pitbull used as a weapon, I said. HOA tyrant. Ignored leash laws, attacked a disabled kid. Where and when, he replied. Next, I called Elena Cruz, a lawyer who shredded corrupt HOAs. Attack, retaliation, signs, I briefed. Proof, she asked. I'll get it. At 3:17 a.m., I bypassed the HOA shed's cheap lock in 30 seconds. Inside, I found a filing cabinet labeled Board Only. Among notices and flags, a folder read K9 Integration Pilot, with photos of a shredded wheelchair mannequin. My hands shook not fear, certainty. Margaret hadn't neglected her dog. She'd trained it to target kids like Ethan. I photographed every page. My dining table became a war room. K9 tactics, shredded mannequins, biased fines. I printed flyers, how your dues train a weapon, and slipped them into mailboxes at dawn. By breakfast, texts flooded. Is this real? She chased my kid last fall. At 1:43 p.m., Sarah, a neighbor, showed me footage of the attack. Ethan stars, the dog's charge, Margaret smiling. That evening, I hosted a safety meeting in my garage. 14 neighbors came, sharing fines for wind chimes, threats for skateboarding. I handed out evidence folders. Speak at the HOA meeting, I urged. Defiance sparked. The 6 p.m. HOA meeting buzzed with tension, chairs packed, residents standing. Margaret entered, Pitbull unleashed, navy blazer crisp, smirking at me. Let's begin, she said, tapping her gavel. A complaint about animal behavior? I stood. Not a complaint, an expose. I slapped down my folder. Your shed documents show you trained your Pitbull to attack wheelchairs. She scoffed. Fabricated nonsense. You authorized a weapon to maul my son, I said. And that sign on my lawn says he's unwelcome. Gasps rippled. Sarah stood, trembling. I have video. The room darkened. Ethan's scream played, Margaret's smile damning. Lucas added, that dog was commanded, not instinctive. Margaret shrieked, I am order here. Voices chanted, vote her out. Her gavel was snatched. She fled mid-meeting. The courtroom was stark, no grandeur, just a creaking fan. Margaret sat, gray-suited, face scarred, Pitbull absent. Charges echoed, endangerment, harassment, fraud. Her lawyer claimed instinctive dog behavior. Elena presented the K9 folder, wheelchair photos. Sarah's video silenced the room. Margaret's smirk as Ethan bled. Lucas testified, trained, not instinctive. The judge ruled, guilty, restitution, HOA ban, dog removed. Margaret hissed, this isn't over. It is, I said, steel-eyed. Outside, neighbors cheered Ethan's name. Weeks later, Ethan flinched at barks but drew stars again, writing, this sidewalk is safe now. Kids joined, coloring his stars. A golden retriever licked his hand, easing his fear. The HOA rewrote bylaws, named a playground after Ethan. He dreamed of lawyering with a dog. Margaret's iron gate fell, sparking cheers. A garden bench read, for children's courage and parents' fight. Ethan's stars outshone her shadow. Cruelty hides behind clipboards, but truth breaks cages. Share, I stand up, below if you'd fight for the vulnerable. Your story might spark courage.